He consistently makes all of these plays at all these moments. And then, of course, Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Travis sits it down. Patrick makes the play. Game over.
Gain of 9 there, and Mahomes absolutely loves it. With 1 second left in regulation, Matthew Wright attempting a 31-yard field goal for the win. And Wright's kick doinks. The upright ricochets, and it goes in, so the Chiefs win. The luck continues. Here's Mahomes after the game.
It seems like we stall out on drives, on little things, and I've said that kind of all year long. But it is close. I truly believe we are close, closer than we were this year at this point. And it's just about finding a way to prove it on the football field on Sundays. We'll play every day of the week. It seems like the next few days, but on game days, and then we can kind of go into the playoffs with some momentum.
Yeah, Mahomes now 26-26 in his career after trailing in the fourth quarter. He's the only guy in NFL history with a winning percentage better than 400 in that position. Never mind the fact that he's 500. Daryl LaMonica ranks second, the 386 winning percentage, followed by Hall of Famers Otto Graham and Joe Montana. I mean, it really is. It's crazy. We welcome you to the show. So glad you're with us today on this Monday. We are with you for 2 hours. Mina Chimes, Dan Orlovsky here, Ryan Clark, and Marcus Spears in Dallas ahead of Monday Countdown. Mina, how did Mahomes get it done last night?
Yeah, look, the Chiefs have won a lot of weird, close games, and yes, they have been lucky in certain moments. Like when that kick started hooking left and it doinked in, I thought, of course it doinks in, the Chiefs. But it would be doing them a disservice to focus on that and not stress that their quarterback, in gotta-have-it moments, consistently gets it done. And you saw that in the highlights on that drive. I mean, the final drive, the third downs, that first one to Worthy, it's a 5-man pressure and they break through. His ability to constantly extend plays like this, that off-platform throw, quietly Worthy, by the way, becoming more of a part of the offense. Yeah. The scramble, again, how many times have we seen that? And then this play, I mean, it was so well done by the Chargers, Dan. Like, looks like they're going to send blitz. Yeah. They've got outlets, and suddenly they drop back. It's a simulated pressure. But Patrick Mahomes figures it out, finds a way to extend, and then, as we've seen so many times, Travis Kelce sits down and he finds him. Look, the Chiefs' offense has problems. Sure. But their quarterback is still the best problem solver in football, and we have seen that time and time again in gotta-have-it moments. You saw it last night. Yeah, so there's the saying in football, pass game-wise, there's no defense for the perfect throw. I also believe what we saw again is there's no stopping the unstoppable. And, like, those two plays that Patrick and kind of company make are the perfect example. Mina talked about this. This is the magician, right? 6 up, and you're like, who's coming, who's not? One, the back does an unbelievable job of at least taking some type of action from Derwin James, because this is an all-out pressure with droppers. That's big, okay? Derwin is a problem there. Patrick wants to get out to his right because he feels pressure off his left. He can't because of that pressure. Puts the right foot in the ground. Now, the next two things are huge. Number one, where Xavier Worthy is, as Patrick sees him, he's at the 40. You better come back to that football, too. Patrick jumps in the air again like he did against the Titans years ago in the playoffs. Worthy ends up catching that ball right around the 44. If he doesn't come back, it's going to get picked off. That's phenomenal for that young receiver. Uncoverable. Okay, it's 3rd and 7. We call this roll pass, all right? You're going to get a flat. Travis should be running a corner route. That's his job. He's the number 2 read. Backside is hop and then a down flat. Travis sees that the safety's going to kind of out-leverage him, and instead of running to the corner and covering himself up, he just sits. Just don't move. The next thing by Patrick is remarkable. Watch what the linebacker does. See how he covers that ball up and still able to get it out? Come on. Travis never moving. Those are unstoppable plays. The defense basically in both moments does perfection in a way, and it didn't matter. And that's why they are who they are.
So before I start this analysis, I'm going to ask everybody a question. I want y'all to answer it. Do y'all think it's a team that can blow the Kansas City Chiefs out?
No.
Yes.
Where they can win the Super Bowl?
Oh.
That's really what it boils down to. Who, Dan?
I think Buffalo can whoop them. If you catch Buffalo's A game, I think Buffalo can blow them out.
Interesting.
All right, so we're talking one team, which for me, now we're talking about the Chiefs in the playoffs, right? They've locked up their division. But the point that I'm trying to make is these games are going to be played on the margins, and it's to reiterate what you and Mina just talked about. They're going to win the games. that are played on the margins. And whether you call it luck, because it takes some of that to win a championship, whether you call it unstoppable, it takes some of that. I don't go to the fourth quarter sequence. I go to the 2 minute before half.
Yeah.
When you start talking about execution and gotta have it situations. How big was this drive when you start to play and you go no huddle and you dink and dunk? You find your guys. You find a way to matriculate yards down the field. Here's Noah Gray. The next play, you run a draw that's almost fumbled. That's a little luck. You get a first down with Samaje Perine. You come back with the slant to DeAndre Hopkins when you put him and Travis Kelce to the same side. So, look, we can focus on the fourth quarter, and we know that the Chiefs have their struggles. But, RC, I asked the question, who do we think can blow them out? Because if no one can blow them out, they can absolutely win their third Super Bowl.
And I think that's why it's always hard to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to read something from Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. Even Michael Jordan missed some. Even Michael Jordan was entrusted to take the last shot, and it didn't go in. What happens when Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes don't show up in that moment? What happens when they can't overcome? You look at this first half of this game, and there were 3 sacks for the Los Angeles Chargers. On all of those plays that Dan is talking about to finish the game, the play to Xavier Worthy, he's having to make Jasir Taylor and Derwin James miss in the backfield. So what happens when Patrick Mahomes isn't able to create? When you look at what we saw in the first half, we still saw that they couldn't protect, that the tackles were a liability. We were seeing extra people brought from the second level by the Los Angeles Chargers. And yes, at the end of the half, and at the end of the game, Patrick Mahomes was able to overcome. But at some point, other pieces will have to step up, so it's not all on his shoulders.
Bills against the Rams. Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. You know you're going to see some great quarterback play when these two tangle. Second quarter, Rams leading 17-14, and Stafford launching it to Puka Nacua, making the great catch right there. I mean, this is
insane. This is insane.
How does he do it?
Look at his eyes follow the ball, and somehow with the toes flexed gets him to the ground, and then they jet sweep Puka. They ran this 3 or 4 times yesterday, the Rams offense.
Rams leading 24-14 at the half. In third quarter, the Rams are driving here. Stafford zips one over the middle to Cooper Kupp for a beautiful touchdown.
Yeah, I love the type of throw that actually protects Cooper both from the corner and the safety.
So the Rams now leading 38-21. Next Bills possession. How's Josh Allen going to respond? He finds Khalil Shakir downfield, and he makes a nice catch.
Well, he responds with a hand cannon that goes about 45 yards on the double move from Shakir.
Nice.
An unbelievable throw, and then matches it with just an equally as good a throw, pins it on Matt Collins' chin.
So just like that, the Bills down a field goal, 38-35. 2 minutes to play, same score, and Stafford, quick pass to Nacua. He takes it to the end zone. The Rams lead 44-38. It was just back and forth. Great game with all this scoring. 1 minute and 6 seconds left to go. First and goal for the Bills. Allen keeps it himself, but he can't get into the end zone, so the Bills have to spend a timeout. More on this in just moments. Second and goal at the half-yard line. Allen takes it in on the quarterback sneak. Bills trail 44-42. 1 minute left. Bills with the onside kick, and Tyler Bass's kick easily recovered. Rams are able to win. Here is Sean McDermott on that end-of-game sequence that proved to be costly for the Bills.
We used what we thought was our best play all year, which is 1 yard quarterback sneak by Josh. Had to use a timeout. And so just felt like that was the best course of action for us right there. And neither of them are great choices, right, in that situation. So at the end of the day, we got to play better overall to, so we stay out of those situations, quite frankly.
Mina, you okay with how McDermott played that end of the game?
First, I want to say anyone who thinks quarterbacking in the NFL isn't great right now should be forced to watch that on loop, that game on loop, because, oh, my God.
Yep.
But as far as the decision goes, the problem is not the sneak in a vacuum. It's the sneak coupled with the timeout, which was necessitated by the play call when it failed. Because at that point in the game, if you expend one of your timeouts, you're basically guaranteeing you have to onside kick. If you're playing for an onside kick, you're praying for a miracle. So time is the most valuable asset at that moment. You have to recognize that as the head coach when you're making a call. Yes, a sneak is more, it's more likely to work than a throw, but it comes with it the risk of having to burn the timeout, which is what happened, and that's ultimately why they lost.
Yeah, I think Sean McDermott's words are, we went with our best player, the thing that I lean on. I guess, to Mina's point, I don't mind the sneak But if it doesn't get in, just run it again.
You got to have it right.
Instead of ripping the timeout, so save the timeout, just get up there and run it again. Josh has been 18 for 20 on 1 yard run or 1 yard sneaks this year. So it is their best play. You're mitigating any type of negative penalty or sack in that moment. I just think if they don't get it, just get up there and run it again.
Well, the other context of this, too, is how well Josh Allen was playing in this game. I mean, RC, Allen balled out 3 touchdowns in the air, 3 more on the ground.
Yeah.
What did you like about that Bills offense?
Everything.
Well, the first thing, you love that Josh Allen went sicko mode, but to me, it was some of the things they did in structure. Go back to the first half. I love the screen game. You're playing against the Los Angeles Rams, which you know can pressure the passer with 4. And so in order to beat some of that pressure, they were getting the ball out of Josh Allen's hands, putting it in the hands of the running backs early on, allowing them to get down the field, whether it was Davis or Johnson, being able to create huge plays. And then when they moved to the second half, and they knew they had to push the football down the field, we saw guys like Amari Cooper, guys like Mac Hollins in one-on-one coverage catch tight window footballs that Josh put right on the money. We're not going to see Josh Allen be able to do what he did with his legs and kind of improv throughout the entire game, make those huge plays because people like Spags will make sure that they have spies on them, but when you can do some of those things, they carry over game to game.
Yeah, Marcus, defensively, the Bills struggled to slow down LA, though. Why was that?
Yeah. So Game of Thrones was one of my favorite series on TV, and I don't remember who in the hell brought Jon Snow back to life, but it was Sean McVay. Because what he did to this defense with motion and movement, and what he did to the defensive ends especially, was they were in hell, as Mina likes to say. Here's Ebenezer with the motion with the tight end. You fake this block. Look at the no man's land that he's in. He has to play it slow because he's worried about Matthew Stafford rolling out with whiff. Here's another one where you get him. You find him in space, and you just do not block. And we talk about this all the time. The reverse. Now he's wanting to crash down because the last time it was a dive. Here's the one for me, though. Russo standing up. There's a stack over there, a bunch. He puts him in motion. He comes down, and Puka Nacua blocks Greg Russo like Puka Nacua wears 300 pounds. Yeah. This is all game long. You watch these guys, and as a former defensive end man on the line of scrimmage, there was no way for them to be right for about 80% of this game when the motion was brought to leverage the outside. But this was a lot of Matthew Stafford and how great he was. But Sean McVay with motion, with defensive ends specifically, y'all could talk about the other positions. It is the worst place to be in football when he's whirling like that.
Yeah, I don't want to panic about the Bills in some ways because this offense, when they're healthy, is arguably the best in the NFL, honestly. And you said earlier there's no defense for a perfect throw. Some of the throws Matthew Stafford in this main are actually undefensible.
Right.
However, I do think there is maybe one thing I have concerned with, and you saw that as the game went on. The Rams actually didn't put up great rushing numbers, but they had some success early in this game, which I thought that makes sense because this Bills defense plays very light. And as the game went on, guys, they started bringing a safety into the box more. I think they were concerned about their ability to stop the run. And so in the second half, they were in single high 70% of the time. And the Rams are very, very good against that, obviously, through the air. And that concerns me a little bit moving forward because I feel like now we have seen a couple games where against teams that can really get downhill and run the ball, this Bills defense does have some structural issues.
That's really interesting. The Bills allowed 44 points, the most they've allowed in any game started by Josh Allen in his career. Doesn't happen that often.